My last visit, I must say, was one of the most traumatic to Amsterdam. I was dealing with a prospect who was trying to put together a customer experience strategy, and he won the conspicuous award of being the worst call center in Netherlands. Apparently, this award is not just something that you read in a magazine. He showed up the next morning only to have a big billboard in front of his office announcing that his is in fact the worst call center in the Netherlands. And yet, as he thought that that was the end of his humiliation, there was a band playing at the entrance, courtesy of the magazine, reminding all of his employees that they do represent the absolute worst in call centers in the Netherlands. That was my welcome when he called me and said, "What do I do with this?" And I'll share with you hopefully a little bit later about that. As Paige mentioned before, I used to be in your seats. I used to be in the technology world. I worked with HP. I worked with another company called Nice Systems. We were in the customer experience technology business, only for me one day to find out that without having a real solution that will actually mobilize people, not just enable them, we have nothing. Or as my Dutch friend told me, even a fool with a tool is still a fool. I can't do anything. I don't know what I'm doing with it. And what I want to do today is walk you through some of the lessons that we have learned implementing customer experience strategies at our clients. We are there for the operation, we are there for the strategy, we are there for the technology. And as I said, while technology enable, we focus on mobilizing the two important stakeholders, employees and customers, to actually do something with that. So, as an organization, just a quick recap. If you don't know who we are, that's fine, because we are busy with our clients. We've been in the business for about 12 years. We have done over 150 transformation projects around the world, touching about 220 million customers and 375,000 employees. And I want to start with one example. This was an executive in Belgium who called me, large logistics company in Europe, and he said, "Lior, we're about to launch our customer experience strategy. We put together the strategy, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the strategy, I want you to read it, and I want you to tell me if we forgot anything." And I said, "Look, this is not how we do things. I really need to experience it the way your customers experience it." And we go back and forth on this topic. And eventually he allowed me to do that. I took my consulting team. We went on the road. Each and every one of us took a different touch points in the journey. I'm sure you're all familiar with the concept. And I ended up in none other than the call center in Coventry, UK. Now, if Coventry is not on your list of the top 100 places to visit before you die, don't add it there. There is no reason for it to be there. Okay? Coventry is a call center town. I did what is known in the business as a side-by-side, which means I had my headset. Amy, who was sitting next to me, was having her headset. She was taking calls. I was listening. I'm making notes. She's taking calls. And about an hour into this conversation, she takes a piece of paper, she writes something on it, and she leaves. She comes back, she writes something on it, and she continues to take calls. And this continues for a couple of hours until I stopped her and I said, "Amy, what's on that piece of paper?" And she said, "Oh, it's my toilet time." I said, "Do you have some kind of medical issues that requires you to capture your toilet time?" And she said, "No, it's from my supervisor." Now, I just want you to visualize it. This is 500 employees call center, okay? Just remember that. I go to the supervisor, I said, "Toilet time?" He said, "Yeah, go to the vice president of customer service." I go to the vice president, he said, "Oh yes, every Friday afternoon my admin collects all the toilet time for all the employees and we run analysis." And I said, "Wow, that's very interesting." So I said, "Can I please see some of it?" He said, "Sure, I would be happy to share it with you. Would you like it by gender, by seniority, by groups? How would you like to see the data?" I'm like, "Wow, this guy is sophisticated." I said, "Hit me. You know what? I'm not even sure where to start. So you just give me the data as you know it." He pulls out one of those graph charts from Excel. You know those graph charts from Excel, right? You know, Samantha, 57 minutes. David, 42 minutes. John, 72 minutes. Steve, 32 minutes. I'm like, wow. And I just saw a line cutting through. So I said, "What is the line?" He said, "Oh, that's the average. If you go over the average, you need to explain to your supervisor, what did you eat last night?" So I'm getting the message. This is not going to be a great customer experience there, right? So I said to him, look, I would like to take some of these sample reports with me. He said, where are you going to take them? I said, to your CEO. He said, please, please, I want you to show him the great work we are doing here. And I sure did. I stopped the project, I took the reports, I put it in front of the CEO, and I said, you are measuring totally time. There's no way on earth you're going to have a great customer experience here. He said, no, we don't. Yes, you do. No, we don't. Yes, you do. Reports. He looked at me, said, you're the consultant. You're going to tell me what to do. I thought it was self-explanatory, but apparently he needed, I said to him, look, it's going to require some investment. He said, oh, don't worry about investment. We'll do whatever it takes because I want to be the best customer experience company in Europe. I said, okay. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to install infrared sensors on the chairs of your employees. So the moment they get up via Wi-Fi, we're going to report it to a live, real-time system of performance management that will tell us which stall in the bathroom they sit in. And then at the bottom of the chair, there'll be a special scale. So then when they'll come back from the bathroom, we'll be able to measure the net employee engagement that they provide to us. Some tempting, isn't it? It was the longest 5 minutes of my life. I wasn't sure if he's about to ask me how much it cost or if I'm kidding. But eventually he realized I was kidding. These organizations have gone from 3% organic growth to 44% organic growth across Europe in 2 years. This is the power of what a real customer experience does. So let me walk you through how do we get there, and then continue on the journey. We had the privilege, as I mentioned, to work with a wide variety of clients. As you can see here, every time you pull out your MasterCard, especially if it's platinum or above, we are behind the scenes making sure that you're happy. Every one of the Royal Caribbean cruise lines employ, all 40,000 of them are operating based on our models, and Mercedes-Benz, one of our clients in the US with a phenomenal success stories. Royal Caribbean Cruise, Royal Mail, before they went public, we were dealing with them. So got really the opportunity to apply our models in a wide variety of places in 21 countries. When you see this brick, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The famous Dynatec 8000X. What comes to mind? Come on, what's the first word? Innovation, yes, what else? What? What else comes to mind? Come on, guys, give me a couple words. Old, ancient. How about heavy, right? Are you impressed by the screen size? Yeah? Can you see how you can text in it? You know, the Facebooking will do really well for you, right? Do you remember how much this piece of device cost when it was launched? Anyone remembers? Yes? It was actually $3,500, which means you got either a fake one or, or a really good deal because you were connected with Motorola at the time. But let's go to 1983. Oh, then it was all the rage. Then you wanted to be seen with this brick. You wanted everybody to see that you're with it. And in fact, Motorola took that success and stretched it for 11 years. Can you imagine the same device for 11 years? I mean, we cannot sit still with the iPhone 5S because we are already thinking about the 6X and maybe the Galaxy, and who knows? You see someone else with just slightly different cell phone, you're starting to get anxious, right? Motorola took this device for 11 years. And what was exciting once became eventually boring and eventually annoying. And that is something that organizations fail to understand. Customer experience is ever evolving. Excitement is within a certain context. And if we do not evolve our own customer engagement, what used to be exciting is now emerging into boring and then eventually into annoying. And we want to make sure that our customer experience is not built based on a fixed model, but rather based on an evolving model that allows us to introduce different differentiations and stay relevant to the customer. Why? And this is where I'm going to take customer experience straight to your CEO's level, because that is where most of our engagements are. Most of our engagements at Strativity are C-level, where the CEO is saying, I need a better customer experience. And by the way, when you reach that level, budget is less of an issue. Why? Because finally that CEO recognized that they need to get exceptional results. Their stockholders will not allow them to deliver average results. They try with cost cutting, but you cannot cost cut your way to growth. There's just no way you can do that. They try with product, but that doesn't work anymore because products are being changed in a faster pace. They try with new technologies, but they get them basically to parity. So now they're trying to figure out, how do I keep a sustainable, exceptional results model?